I'm Beth.
I'm Logan, and we've been working alongside Project Bruce to create instructional DIY videos to put on their YouTube channel.
Feel free to make your own videos and send them to the email below.
Check this one out.
Hey guys, today we're going to take you through how to change your bike tyre and repair a puncture in the inner tube. To take your wheel off, just come down to the axle here, and usually they're just a flip and a twist. Don't want to do it all the way because you just need enough room for the tyre to pop up. When you're taking the wheel out, you just want to be careful of the chain when you're bringing it up. Making sure that's unhooking, and as you hold it down, you can bring it out and slowly release the chain off it. Keep it on its cogs. Boom. To get your tyre off the rim, bear in mind you want to be using an old teaspoon because they can bend. And what we're going to do is put the tyre right against the edge. You get your teaspoon and thread it under the tyre, and then you just slide it all the way along, and it will get itself off the rim. You want to do that the whole way around the tyre, and then you can see we have one full edge off. Before you can take the whole tyre and inner tube out, you want to make sure that the valve is through and pull it outside on the rim, the same side that you've pulled the tyre out. Now, starting at where the valve is, you want to use the same technique to get the whole tyre and inner tube out. Under the valve and all the way to the other side of the tyre, and then from there you can start sliding around just like before, and it comes off the rim quite nicely. Now you can just peel your inner tube out. Inner tube's out. It's good to go through and check the inside for any holes or objects lodged in there that will be coming from here. This is just so that when we put the new inner tube in, it's not going to puncture again. It's always a good idea to give the inner tube a pump up before checking for the hole, just so there's a lot more air in there and it's much easier to find it. So before putting your inner tube into the water to test where the puncture is, you can, after it's filled up, you can kind of give it a listen, and we can hear where the air's coming, and we're able to locate it like that, but we'll also take you through how to locate it through the water. So you're just threading the inner tube through the water and giving a squeeze, and you can see the bubbles that shows air is coming out, and we have located our puncture. Sometimes it's best to draw a circle around the hole just so you can pinpoint it. I've lost this thing about 4 times already. These are the tools we'll be using with the genuine puncture kit. It should come with the scratcher, the glue, and the patches, sometimes in different sizes. And it's always good to have something that you can spread the glue around because you don't want that stuff on your fingers. So what you want to do, as you can see, this is where our puncture is. You want to get your rasp or your scratcher and just rough around the hole and where the patch will be. This roughs up the inner tube and gives a little bit of friction for the glue and the puncture to the patch to sit on. When you're scratching and when you're using the glue, you always want to do it a little bit further than the size of the patch. This means that you know that the patch is going to be kept down firmly and there's no air bubbles in between it and the inner tube. When you're using this kind of glue, you have to leave it for a bit, just waiting for it to get tacky and a little bit sticky. This allows for the patch to stick on nicer. Otherwise, if you put it on, it's too wet, it's just going to slide around and it won't stay on. As you can see, it does look like it's almost drying out, but that's the ideal texture that you wanted at. So what we do from here is we're going to peel the silver side of the patch off, and we're going to lay that long ways across where the hole is. From there, we're pushing down really firmly, and you're trying to push any air pockets out from the center, pushing towards the edge and really mould it into the inner tube. Once you think that the patch is nice and stuck on, you can slowly peel this plastic seal off, making sure that the patch is not lifting off. So if you do need to continue, it's always the edges that seem to be a little bit frail. So make sure it is really on there before peeling this off, and make sure that you don't pull the patch off with it. Once you've got the patch on there and you think it's all nice and done, you want to let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, let the glue dry and let the patch settle. After that, we're going to reinflate the tube and we're going to run it through the water again, make sure the patch is all sealed off and there's no more holes. Just going to reinflate the tyre and run the patch under the water. Give it a gentle squeeze either side. As you can see, there's no bubbles coming out. It looks all good. There you have it. Good to deflate your inner tube before putting it back in. This makes it easier to maneuver, and it's hard to put the tyre back on the rim when there is air in here. Just giving a good squeeze with the valve open. Now that we've got our inner tube repaired, we can begin to put the back in the tyre and onto the rim. How I like to do this, I lay the tyre down and just thread the inner tube in, thread it in, all the way around the tyre. And when you're putting the tyre on, I always like to start with the valve. You put it through the rim, so you know you're all lined up and less dirty work later. From here, what I like to do is, being very careful with that inner tube, I just bring one side of the tyre all the way around while holding on to the valve. This means that your tyre is sort of gripped on to the rim. It's much easier to do the other side as well. So now for this side of the rim, we're doing the opposite as we did when we were taking it off. You want to get inside the rim and thread it over, and then just sliding it along, pushing the tyre into the rim, and being very careful with the inner tube because you do not want to puncture it again. As you can see, it usually falls back into place. Go back over to the other side, do the same thing. This is a lot easier when the air is out of the inner tube. Just means there's more give in the tyre to go over the rim. Sometimes if you want to get to the end, you can just thread it over like that. Once you have got the tyre over the rim, you just want to be sure to go around and check that the inner tube isn't stuck underneath it or wedged between the rim, because that could also cause puncture or any other issues. And do that both sides just to be sure. From here, we can now begin to reinflate the tyre. Usually when the inner tube is down a lot, it's going to take a while. So I hope you've got strong arms. Giving it a little push every now and then just to make sure you're not overinflating it. There we go.